Fate Grand Order Babylonia, holy shit. This episode, that's seemingly the final part of the battle. We have one episode to go to conclude it, which definitely seems like we're going to get more of an epilogue, but hey, you never know with Grand Order. How many times have we thought we finished the score, and then we realized this was still only version 1 of 3, right? But still, to not only see my boy Gilgamesh come back in a very familiar fashion that many Fate fans are going to recognize, and just his pure will and determination to make sure that he would be there to settle the score and not just completely leave it to Fujimaru. And then we have badass skeleton soldier just cutting down bitches left and right. I mean, that was great by itself. But just the emotional impact to this final stand, seeing Merlin in his true form, no longer held down by caster guidelines, can really take out a sword and be a saber class like he always wanted. It was just so nice to see all the pieces fall into place, but also feel like they were going to lose. You literally have the children of Tiamat and they were literally gods by themselves, and we're seeing Ishtar almost get killed. Which, honestly, yes, characters getting killed in the cast, we've seen that, we've experienced that, but there are certain characters that just feel like they've been doing really solid. As if, yeah, they may get hurt from time to time, but characters like Ishtar, you know, they're very powerful. They're not going to get stabbed or really wounded to the point that you think, holy shit, they're actually going to die. But there's plenty of moments that had someone not been there to cut off a head or just deflect an attack, characters like Ishtar would have went out. And we even lost Erish in this episode. Thankfully, it was more of her own doing of breaking the rules of the underworld and things like that, but it still stung horribly. It really did, especially with how much I enjoyed Erish and just her addition to this cast and just her many faces and just how she hid her embarrassment. It was really nice to see that, but I mean, without her, this entire plan would have fell to pieces. To just see the idea that all this battle was we have the giant mother trying to claw her way up to the surface. Should she do that, everything will be in her favor, she will win. And then you have everyone throwing every bits of abilities that they have left. Fujimaru has no command spells left, so it's literally just relying on the strength he still has to pass his energy along and whatever energy their servants have at that point in time. Should one wrong move be made and you waste your big attack, that's all there is. There's no other energy that you can use because there's nothing to recharge the battery. I love how the escalation in this episode was just like, you kind of flip back and forth, or at least I know I did, of every other minute I was like, yep, they're gonna be alright, nope, they're gonna lose. Yep, nope, they're gonna lose. It was this constant back and forth fighting of not knowing how it was going to end. Even with the amount of power and soldiers they had, there was never a guarantee that they were going to come out of this on top. Even with the additions of characters dropping in, be it Merlin or just, holy shit, we got a skeleton army now on our side, this dude's cutting off heads like it's basically Swiss cheese. He's gonna have no trouble, even if our characters like Ishtar or Merlin or things like that aren't able to cut down these children. Clearly we have an ally on our side who can, but it never felt like just because something was positive in the character's direction meant they were guaranteed going to win this. And because of that, this entire endgame has been exhilarating because it's never felt like a guaranteed win. Often a show like this, even in the Fate formula and series, you typically feel like you know what to expect at a certain point. Whether it's the second to last episode, the third to last episode, the last episode, whatever it is, there comes a point where you feel comfortable saying, this is what's going to happen because of a new ally randomly joining in, a new ability randomly joining in, a random solution that randomly joined in. There's usually something like that that's happened. And Grand Order Babylonia has had plenty of moments where we just didn't expect a character to jump in and we're like, thank God they're there, now we're going to win, but they never do. And if they do, it's going to be episodes down the line. I like how rather than just going in the traditional formula of saying, hey, new ally, new ability, all's going to be fine, it's like, yeah, you may have that in terms of your forces, but you're not going to win guaranteed. The fact that at every moment it felt like, holy shit, nothing is working, and then she activates her trap card, which should you touch this basically black and white circle, you're gone, you're erased. And the fact that you had to throw literally everything, you have to use the best defense you have to use Merlin to carve you a path, and only Fujimaru could deliver the final blow. And the fact that Fujimaru didn't even have to stab her, but rather just have a conversation with her, which may get criticized by some, but when you take into consideration many of the creatures that go off the deep end are gods or goddesses that get lost and maybe feel betrayed or used, and just someone who just really wanted love, and because of the demonic form she's in, that love has a very negative consequence. And I love how someone like Gilgamesh has been the star of the show for so long, and he used an ability I haven't seen in quite some time in the Fate anime realm. And the fact that he came back to use that, knowing that he wasn't going to just let his kingdom fall in the hands of outsiders, that he trusts in those outsiders, but he knows he also needs to be there. Like, that is such in a Gilgamesh fashion that I love it. And I mean, just really thinking of how long this battle's been. Most of the time, if you're lucky, 3 episodes of action. And even that can feel long and dragged out, as if, okay, you know, there's only so much action that you can show us before it's going to grow stale. Even if it's eye candy, for me, unless there's a personality there, a story being told, I don't care. But Babylonia, this entire back half and the entire endgame has been one great story. Rather than it just feeling like there's a lot of flash, a lot of spectacle, cool moments and abilities, you have that, but you also have a story being told at every single moment. Every time a character looks like they're going to die, it feels like, holy shit, that's a story there. You actually feel connected to the character. You feel like when the characters speak, it's not just anime dialogue to say, you know, I'm going to give a motivation speech, then we're going to charge up our super attacks. It felt like the characters struggled. They felt fear. Even the powerful characters felt fear and regret, and no one truly believed they had a guaranteed slam dunk. It felt like at every moment throughout this series, it felt like they could lose. Sure, maybe Fujimaru could be extracted, but how is that a victory, right? You know, like, there's so much that has been put on the line here, and to just see the destruction. I mean, I've complimented the sound direction a lot throughout this anime, but to just see the number of times, like, a laser would be shot, or you'd hear a screech, or the ground would just shatter around them. It felt like we were a part of an earthquake and just the world ending. It wasn't blasting our ears so much that it hurt our eardrums, but rather it felt so loud and distorted that you could tell that these characters are experiencing something. And you rarely see that with sound direction, because you can look at a lot of the effects, Gilgamesh's attack or even her attack, and just see the annihilation. It looks beautiful and it looks deadly, but how often do the sound effects perfectly capture that level of destruction? It's usually one or the other. Either you get really great sound direction that feels destructive, but the visuals can't match the quality in terms of its sound, or vice versa. But we have the perfect harmony of production, and holy shit, Babylonia, for being the first true Fate Grand Order anime, in terms of getting a full anime adaptation for one of its story arcs, has set the bar exceptionally high. Granted, the next project that's coming out is movies, so they probably can do pretty damn well, I'm pretty sure. But still, it feels like Grand Order wasn't something that just was designed to be with its Babylonia adaptation to say, hey, you really want to keep checking out more. Rather, it's like they love this story. The team has to care. The director clearly cares, because after watching this episode, I just want to rewatch this entire show. This anime has been exceptional. It has restarted my love for Fate in such a way that I never thought possible, where Fate and me kind of had this love-hate relationship where I watch pretty much anything with the Fate name because I've just kind of become addicted rather than willingly wanting to watch all of them, because honestly, very few get that same reaction that a Heavens feel, that a Fate Zero will get me, but Babylonia has done that. It really, really has. Like, Lord Elmaloy was great. It was kind of the first one to kind of restart that love, because it was such a different feeling show, and I love seeing the lore be explored. But in terms of a true Fate anime, using Holy Grails but twisting the formula on its head, it's done such a refreshing take on the series that it has twisted what we know about Fate on its head and showing us something completely different. This was emotional. We continue to lose characters, and when characters come back, it's not the same as they once were, but at the same time, you feel like when they come back, it's justified. It's not an ass pull or something randomly happened. It all functions in the way that this series operates with its mechanics, and because of that, when characters pop up, it doesn't feel like it randomly happened. How long was that old man teased in this adaptation of Babylonia? Some said it feels like because we haven't seen the other parts, we haven't had a connection with him. And I know very little about him myself, but at the same time, we've had that tease. We had him just appear to be like this old homeless guy, and then We see him in the underworld. He was always there, so it's not surprising that he came in at the end of the world, basically. Babylonia did a great job at not just reintroducing things randomly, but giving subtle setup. So whether you played the game or haven't played the game, up to this point, it still feels like everything is making sense for everyone alike. And that's why episodes like these are so impactful, that you just still don't know. What do you want to feel about episode 20? You're excited, you're sad because the show is almost over, but you just have this wave of emotions probably identical to the way the characters would be feeling, as if, is it really over? Can we relax? What can we do? All I know is Fujimaru is probably just hoping that he can sit on a rooftop and talk about his troubles very soon, because this shit is intense. I am going to be having a video of Fate Grand Order Babylonia going up this Sunday, around evening time, supper time, things like that. So if you want to check out more Fate Babylonia content before the final episode next week, do check back on the channel this Sunday. It's kind of like a dive into basically why its refreshing take on the formula works so well. I think anyone who's enjoyed these reviews are going to love that video. I really enjoyed making it myself, so I did want to plug that before we wrap this up. But as always, let me know your thoughts down in that comment section below. Favorite moment? I mean, it's kind of hard to pick a favorite moment if I'm being honest, because there is so much where you can pause and just say, that's glorious. But if you do have a favorite moment, do let me know. And be sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and remember to hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.